All right, welcome everybody. This is the second presentation on the BigBlueButton World 2025. It is my pleasure to introduce Stephanie. She has, with over 20 years experience training at adult education, she is a passionate trainer who is currently optimizing online training at didaris, a company that's been very involved in the BigBlueButton community. Previously, she worked as an educational consultancy at the Osnabrück Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She began her journey as a lecturer at Huzhai private university in China, and has also designed continuing education courses in Germany. Stephanie holds a master's degree in sports science with a focus on sports pedagogy and didactics. Over to you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Fred, and hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and today's topic in my presentation is all about inactive participants. We want to find out more about it because this topic has been popping up more and more frequently in recent months. So we'd like to take a closer look. And that's why we are currently investigating the reasons for inactivity, but also the impact inactive participants can have on the trainer and on the course as a whole. I'd like to share our findings so far and our thoughts for the future. But first, I would like to introduce you to our company, didaris. So, we are based in Berlin, in Germany, and we are a service provider for live online trainings. So we offer courses in the field of further education, advanced training, and continuing education. Our courses last from a few weeks up to 18 months. And to name a few more numbers, we have up to 3,000 participants a day, and we have 400 trainers teaching in our courses. So what courses exactly do we offer? For instance, upskilling courses for people in commercial professions like real estate agent or retail salesperson, or courses in the industrial technical field, such as the IT specialist and something like that. Then, for example, we also have the advanced training to become a bachelor professional of health and social services, for instance. Well, some courses, like all the bachelor professional courses, prepare for an external examination by the state, so a public exam, which can be a nationwide examination. And in some courses, we have our own exam included, which is an online test or an oral examination. So now, who are our participants? Then let's have a look at our target group. We don't have any pupils at school. We have no students at university. We have no children as our participants, but we have adults with several years of work experience. Even our youngest participants, they have already completed a 3-year apprenticeship. So they also have 3 years practical work experience. And then our participants complete the course alongside their job. To explain that more precisely to you, what this means, I've just said alongside their job. So they work during the day and have courses in the evening. So that alone is very demanding, I guess, and I truly admire our participants. But there are quite a few who participate in a live online training while they are working especially during their shift work. So course and work at the same time. I couldn't believe it when I first heard it, because it must be very exhausting to work and participate in a live online training simultaneously. So of course, then it might be quite tough to concentrate 100% on the course, let alone participate in group work. So most of them just listen, and they are inactive then in such cases. But of course, you cannot force them. You cannot force them not to work during a session. I'll get back to that later. So the aspect doing the course besides job can have an impact on the entire online course, especially as I've just mentioned, when it comes to group work, because then it is not possible to realize it. As you can see, this is a very important aspect regarding our topic. And we have another aspect to be considered in our target group, that is heterogeneity. So our target group is very heterogeneous in terms of their previous knowledge, in terms of their age, in terms of their experiences they've had so far. And that leads us to some challenges for the trainers. The first challenge, I would say, is to satisfy every participant according to his or her level of knowledge. Because it often happens that some participants feel overstrained and others feel under-challenged due to their different levels of knowledge. And the second challenge for the trainers is to not to be too much academic. So our participants are practitioners, not academics, and so are our courses. Practice orientated rather than academic. And well, of course, they have some theoretical foundations they have to learn, which are sometimes taught in an overly academic manner. And this can also lead to inactivity. On the subject target group, I would simply like to share with you a personal experience, because once I was a didaris participant myself. That's how I first came into contact with didaris, and the course was bodacious. I was totally thrilled, and I passed the external exam with an A grade. And well, to get back to our topic, guess what? During the lessons, the trainer did not want the cameras to be turned on, not even the camera of herself. So no one had switched the camera on. And still it was such an interactive course. So my message at this point is, it is not decisive whether the participants switch on the camera, but whether they actively take part in the lesson, right? Having an interactive course is also possible without switching on the camera, as we see here. But of course, it depends a lot on the trainer, and sometimes it is easier by using the camera to generate activity. And for me as a trainer, it's more pleasant to see my participants, to look in their eyes, to get some feedback. But it was a very, very interesting experience for me, and so interesting and so great that I now work for didaris. Okay, then I would like to tell you something about our research methods. As we are currently investigating the reasons for inactivity, we have a couple of research methods. We are about to send a questionnaire to our trainers with questions like, to what extent do inactive participants pose a challenge to your teaching? What measures have you taken to engage participants? Please rate the success of these measures. So these are some questions out of that questionnaire. And then we have already done some phone interviews with participants. Of course, only with those participants from whom we know that they are inactive during the sessions. We got this information from the trainer, but of course we will look forward to having this kind of information available in the next version of BigBlueButton, the Learning Analytics Dashboard. I think this is a really, really great tool, not only for the trainer, but as you can see, also for us for such investigations. Then we want to do some evaluation of participant feedback with AI. We have plenty of feedback data because we not only have feedback at the end of our courses, but we have one at the beginning and even some in between of the course. So every couple of months. So we have plenty of feedback data to be analyzed by AI. And yes, then we have some examples of best practice. For instance, the course I've just mentioned, where I was a participant myself. When we see, so best practice, when we see a trainer is activating the participants very well, we try to figure out why that is, and how we can improve it, or how we try to add this into our conclusions. Yeah, this is a best practice, an example for best practice then for us. Okay, then I would like to tell you what we know so far. So some aspects related to inactivity. I have to mention that these are only some of many aspects. To start with the first one, the job. I've mentioned before, some of the participants, they have shift work. Some might be in an office setting, so they might have some colleagues around. They might have some noise around. Some of them are driving cars while participating in our courses. So that can lead to inactivity. Another aspect is the personality. Everyone has a different personality. Some people are shy, some people are introverted, some people are reticent, and this we have to respect, of course. And then the motivation. Every person has a different motivation, has different goals, different attitude towards learning at all. And so this is another aspect. And I think the most important aspect is the trainer. So the skills of the trainer. The skills vary from trainer to trainer. But of course, it is very important that the trainer is able to motivate the participants being active in the course. So so the trainer's attitude plays a big role in whether inactivity is perceived as a problem. I'll get back to that later. Let me mention another aspect. and that is consultancy mentoring for the participants in advance. So they should have all information about the course. For some, it is tempting to acquire a bachelor professional degree in a short time alongside their job, but they underestimate the effort involved. So that is something we can read in our feedbacks from time to time. And of course, we want to improve here in advance. Here too, we're dealing with heterogeneity in terms of reasons for inactivity. Okay, so now we have the following problem. The trainer feels insecure because no one is responding in a session. No one is active. No one gives feedback. So the trainer might express his or her dissatisfaction in the course. And the paradox is that a course can be completely inactive, but there are still participants who want to listen to a dialogue, even if they don't want to participate themselves. So it is difficult to realize then, of course, right? It is not possible to do any didactic work, to work in groups, to have flourishing discussions. But we also have, of course, few participants who wish to have interaction and who might complain about having no interaction in the course. And they have the right to complain because this is what we sell. We sell live online trainings and not lectures. But of course, the trainer is forced to do a lecture if everyone is inactive. Of course, we know it's not possible to force adults who are our customers, by the way. We cannot force them to be active. So it's kind of like vicious circle or ice bag model. As you see here, you might have heard of it. So the whole problem could also have something to do with the peculiarities of Generation Z. But for now, I don't know if this is the case, and we will see if we have to take this into account as well. So let me tell you something about our position now. Everybody can participate in our courses, active participants and inactive participants. Then we have to realize that everybody has a different personal living condition, and we really want to accept and respect this. I even admire, as I said it, I truly admire our participants having such a full day, go to work the whole day, then come home and then do a 3-4 hour course. We don't want to have any enforcement of webcam use. Because as I mentioned, out of my personal experience, we don't see the core here. But more in participating actively. Participating actively, there are several ways of being active in an online course. Well, to say something, to use the chat, to write on the whiteboard. We don't want to make any distinction in terms of value between those options about communication. So verbal participation and participation via chat, both are valuable, verbal or written. So that's our position. And finally, I would like to tell you something about our current considerations. So the main thing is that we really want to optimize the trainers. I think this is the most important aspect here, and we do this already. But we would like to place more emphasis on interactivity. So we offer them to optimize their teaching and give them support in didactic matters. We want to keep our trainers long term, so we offer that service, right? Then, of course, any activating tool on BBB will help us. So as I mentioned, the learning analytics dashboard is great. And also the random selection tool. I think this is also really great to use. Yeah, we want to use various didactic tools fitting the trainer, the topic, and the participants in each course, right? So we will see how it works. And well, I'm at the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you very much for listening, and I'm curious about your questions.
Thanks, Stephanie. So we have a few minutes left. I encourage, if anyone has any questions, please type them in the chat. And maybe while we're waiting, Stephanie, what is your class size at the deriving?
Oh, it differs a lot. It can be only 6 people in a class, but it can be up to 35 people. Yes.
I see we have someone typing a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the question?
Yeah. Yes, the maybe forcing isn't the right term. You mean this?
That was more me, but Miro
Okay.
gave a question. The size of the class might be limiting interactivity.
Yes, that's true, of course. It's a totally different teaching if you have 35 people or if you have only 6 people there. Of course, yes, you make it fit then.
Okay, we have a few more moments left.
Of course.
So I see 2 people typing.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Learning Analytics dashboard. Maybe a sentence or 2 more. Like, do you train the trainers on using it?
Oh, not now. Maybe later on, but we're not so far already.
All right. And while the folks are typing in, there is another session starting in 5 minutes. So I'll encourage you all to go to the next session as well. It is in Brazil, if you use BigBlueButton quite heavily, and this is one of the heads of the NREN who has been responsible. They've been using it for 10 years for the National Research Educational Network in Brazil. Tracy asks, the class is available to anyone worldwide, considering time zone.
Actually, yes, but they are on German, so only German courses.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions, and then it'll give people a chance to move over. I guess the question is about optimizing trainers. Do you provide a train-the-trainer course?
We do it very individually, so we don't have a train-the-trainer course, but we look at the recordings, and then we see the lessons, and then we give didactical support.
Cool. I actually have a question too. You were using a different platform previously. Why did you switch to BigBlueButton?
Yes, because it's developed especially for the educational branch, and we're very happy with that.
Nice. Okay, we're at the 25 minutes. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to end the recording. But thank you, Stephanie, for joining.
You're
That
so
was
welcome.
great.
Thank you so much.